in Durban and 105.6 FM in Pietermaritzburg. This evening we continue our important series, Balancing Act, where we unpack the real struggles parents face every single day. You know, juggling work, deadlines, household responsibilities, emotional stress, marriage, finance, and still trying to present for everyone else and, being there for their children. Parenting in today's fast-paced world can feel overwhelming. Many parents are exhausted, just tired, stretched thin, and sometimes carrying silent pressure behind closed doors. Yet despite all of this, they still want to raise emotionally secure, confident and successful children. So tonight we ask, how do parents protect their own well-being while remaining actively involved in their children's education and life? Joining us all the way from Cape Town is part 3 of our series, Brother Asharaf MOORAD, as requested by you, the listener, as we explore practical and realistic and honest ways families and you can create balance without guilt, burnout, or losing connection with the people who matter the most. Assalamu alaikum, Brother Ashraf.
Walaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. And the listeners of Radio Ansar, glad to be back.
You dress quite warmly. I believe Cape Town, gosh, the weather is just so windy and out of control.
I told you last week we were expecting level 8 storms. It finally arrived on Sunday.
I saw videos, and for a moment you'll think it's AI or it's not true or it's not in South Africa, but those videos were in Cape Town, how windy it was and trees and everything was just like flying. Super winds.
It's been declared a national disaster because of the damage that has been done in the Western. Many people have lost their lives. A lot of people have been injured. A lot of damage to property. It's very.
May the Almighty just protect us and keep all of us safe. As we discussed last week, South Africa is experiencing weather which we only read in newspapers, and we always thought it'll never be on our shorelines. But unfortunately, it's
Yes.
Yeah.
But we've been okay. Make sure that
Alhamdulillah.
Stayed indoors for 2 days. A little bit like lockdown.
Okay, that's how bad it was.
Yep. We saw a car in the yard nearby. Tree fall on a car. So it was something we have been. We've seen it in videos and all that, but now see it with our own eyes.
Yeah, it's quite disturbing and shocking. But inshallah, hopefully everything will subside and get back to normal. It's just that the damage control and the cleaning up afterwards.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, this week we're continuing with part 3, but we're focusing more on the well-being of the parent, the guardian, the caregiver.
Yes.
It's like they expect a whole lot from the child, but they are not emotionally stable. They are going through so much. So how is it possible, for them to do that? So, many parents feel guilty all the time. Guilty at work for thinking about their children, and guilty at home for thinking about work. So how can parents break out of this constant guilt cycle?
All right. So I think every parent wants the best for their children. I think every parent means well. And whenever they put pressure on their children, it's coming from a place within themselves. They think that that's them caring. And we've got to look at what is real caring to the feeling of I'm caring. And I'm feeling desperate, and I'm feeling pressured, and I want the best for my child. So I'm forcing them to do well at school. I'm forcing them. They don't know how tough life is, as we heard last week. How tough life is, and so I think a lot of parents, like we've been talking about, have been feeling stressed and distressed, and they concerned for their children's well-being, and also what's going to happen if their children don't get employment and the kind of stress that will continue. So let's just say that I'm well aware of what parents may be feeling, and there's a small group of parents who might be middle class and upper middle class who've secured themselves and secured a little bit of money for their children for their lifetimes and their children's lifetimes. But I think most parents out there don't fall into the fortunate position that some parents enjoy, sending their children to private schools, having a lot of resources, and feeling a little bit more comfortable compared to other parents who are feeling stressed and strained. So I want to acknowledge the parents that I'm not just sitting here in my ivory tower pontificating and giving all kinds of guidance and making statements without understanding what they're feeling. So I want them to know. I want parents to know. I mean, you're a professional woman yourself, my sister. You don't have a silver spoon in your mouth. You know what I mean? I don't think you got a trust fund to depend on. You carrying on, making sure for what you have. But you've looking after your children as best while they're in your care. But there's a time that they will leave your care and they will have to be in the world, and you will not be able to parent them after a certain age. So, am I right? What are your feelings as a parent when you hear what I'm saying? What are the stresses of you as a mother? This is what I want to know. What are the stresses of you as a mother? Do you have boys children or girl children or both? I want to know.
Well, when you think about it, I have a daughter who's 9 years old. And today I took leave from work, family responsibility, and I went to her sports. And now, like when I read that, the question I asked you, you guilty not being at work or you guilty spending time at your daughter's sports?
You know what you're feeling, right? So what does it feel like for you being a mother of a 9-year-old girl? Not only people have children. I suppose that if you have girl children, daughters, the concerns are a bit different compared to a son. In the world today, actually in the world the way it is today is the way it's set up. It's men can actually fend for themselves. It's tough for women, especially in the community we come from, to move forward, especially with the concept of what it means to be a woman in the community we come from.
Yeah, no, so true. And
can you hear me clearly?
Yeah, you are. It's just got a bit of there's some friction, but I can hear you. You on your side?
I'm not sure if you can hear me clearly.
I can, but I think it's freezing at times. No, you're right. What you're saying. Life is such where you want to be the perfect parent, and at the same time, you also want to be perfect in your career, in your marriage, in your home front, whether you're a wife, whether you're a daughter-in-law, whether you're a daughter, whoever you are as a woman. You wear so many caps, and it can be draining, with all that you do. So it's not easy, especially, quality time. You want to spend quality time with your children, but when you are a parent and you are so busy, you just have short moments during the day or in the evening to be with your child. And sometimes you, as a parent, you realize they're just growing and you are not with them. And I think a lot of working class parents feel like this, mom or dad. I think we are having a little bit of a technical problem. We'll be taking a short ad break.
I'm back.
You're back. Okay, I was just telling the tech.
Yeah. So I think it should be fine from this point. So I was saying that to have a daughter, and to have consideration for a daughter, especially coming from the culture that we come from, where women don't seem to be supported in being successful, generally speaking. Of course, there is a group of women that are moving into professionalism and becoming professionals beyond becoming teachers, right? Remember, girls used to become teachers. It was safe for girls to become teachers, but now it's safe for girls to be doctors and lawyers and which, alhamdulillah. But generally speaking, I think for the community, we're speaking for the community at large, that the plight of a girl within the community in terms of looking after herself is not really something that is very strong at the moment. It's getting stronger, but a large number of women are still dependent, at least partially, on a husband. They're not fully dependent. So this is what I'm saying, that a lot of parents will have this kind of concern,
Yeah.
and I understand that. And so last week when we were conversing, we had the educator who came in and who brought to awareness that like the school fees that they charge is about 6,400 or something, or 7,000 rand for the year, whatever it is. It's going to be correct. And he was pointing out that times are tough, and that a lot of parents cannot afford education. So I'm also being aware of that. I'm not speaking to the upper middle class professional business people now, because they make up a small percentage of the Muslim community. I'm talking about the masses. That's who I'm concerned about. Because last week, after speaking, hearing that educators speak to Zach, I'm not sure exactly if he's there now. But
We have another tech, Monly.
okay. But like after hearing what that educator to say and Zaki to say, I got very concerned, and I became more and more concerned, because if the parents are feeling stressed, and look, things are very challenging. I'm living in the same world as you. Petrol prices gone up with the even without the Middle East situation, or the America, Irani situation, you know what I mean? Things have been challenging. So there's a lot of stress. There's a lot of stress in the community. I get that.
Yeah, and, exactly. When you're looking at how can parents protect their mental and emotional health while still meeting the demands of parenting?
Well, this is what we're saying about. Let's take a moment and first acknowledge that the situation parents find themselves in is of no fault of their own.
Yeah.
I want to make that very clear. For the average Indian Muslim or average Muslim person, not the ones who came from business class or opportunities of becoming professionals, it's really a challenging situation. And when we heard that educators speak about times are tough,
Yeah.
it can seem like a very negative thing to say, in a sense that it's putting pressure on us, making us feel a bit sad. And if we have that kind of mentality, and our young children look at us and they see us feeling stressed and strained by life, what do they come to believe about life and the life they're going to live? If they see us as parents stressed and strained and desperate, or living lives of within constraints, that in situations that we're living in, if young people are growing up with parents in situations like that, it's already grooming them for life. If life is hard, life is tough. It's a lot of to your state. What you were saying there, the state that we are in is very important to look after the state that we are in, especially in the challenging times that we are in. I wouldn't say times are tough, but I would say times are very challenging. There's a very big difference, because The educator says times are tough. It's like a negative thing to say to school-going children. But to say it's challenging, that's something else. You understand? So
Yeah.
we got to understand the difference between making a statement like times are tough and saying that these are challenging times we are living in. It points out that we can tap into our resources to deal with the challenges of our time. That's the difference. So to say times are tough means we are at the mercy of the times. We are helpless and there's nothing we can do. But to say we live in challenging times and that Allah has given us resources and we can use those resources to feel secure within us, to act in a way that benefits us, and to practice patient perseverance, sabr, peaceful patience, perseverance, with Allah's support and us doing the best we can for ourselves. That's a very different situation. So, like even last week when you sent me that message after the show saying that this is a situation where the education department and so on and so forth, they're making the changes they are. I said to you that we are not doing what we can to benefit ourselves and our people, and we just doing the thing called feeling sorry for ourselves. So it is challenging times. Parents are living in challenging times. But do we not have resources within us that we can develop to handle the challenges at this time, so that we can do the best we can while the times are challenging for ourselves and for our young people? So this is what I am concerned about. That when an educator is speaking like times are tough, like feeling that pressure, that's more like a schooler. We're schooling children into believing they are victims. Instead of being a real educator to say that you have resources Allah has given you and you can apply yourself in a way that can benefit you. Let's do that. See? So even Zach was here last week and he said he went to the same school. And when I spoke to Zach, it seemed like Zach is living his life in a way of making things more difficult for himself.
Yeah.
I don't blame him. I want you to know, parents, it's not your fault that you're feeling stressed and strained. Young people who are at school that are having their educators tell them times are tough, but they need to be put pressure on themselves, and the parents are putting pressure on them. And these young people are feeling pressure. And even when they leave school, they assuming they should be able to do better, but they can't move forward. So when I asked Zach last week, our brother Zakaria, how come you don't have the things you want? And his answer was, in one word, finances. Right? So I want everybody to listen very carefully to what I'm saying here, because if you don't have a mindset shift, you're finished.
Exactly.
Right? You're going to be a victim. You're going to be a victim of these conditions, and you're not going to move into your own resourcefulness and apply yourself as creatively as you can. Sorry, sister, you were saying?
Yeah. You know, lots of parents are physically present at home, but emotionally exhausted and disconnected. How can families reconnect in small but meaningful ways?
So you got to understand what's causing the problem and release what's causing the problem. So you say families, parents emotionally trained. What is their spiritual state? You understand the spiritual state? The spirit, you are a spiritual being, you're a mental being, you're an emotional being, you're a physical being. And this is where you can operate from at these levels. In terms of our resourcefulness, through spirituality, we can feel peace, assurance, know that Allah is available to us. And always remember that we are the creation of Allah, His favorite creation in His care. Right? And that Allah has not abandoned us. But when we have this idea that it's because of finances that we move forward in life, it's a form of shirk.
Yeah.
Do you understand? So a lot of people are thinking, correct me if I'm wrong, a lot of
You're
people
right.
are thinking, if we had more money, we'd have less problems. If listeners are out there and they're thinking this, please phone in and tell us, because how many of us are thinking if our children were able to make more money, their lives will be better? How many of us are
Well,
thinking that our lives are the way they are because we're not making more money? How
exactly.
many of us are
Well,
focusing
yeah.
on money
A message
as a
came
resource?
through. A message came through. Assalamu alaikum. My name is Fatima Adam. Great show, and it's so realistic and real. I'm an accountant by profession. I have 2 children, teenagers, and I am mentally and physically drained. I bring work home. I still try to care to my family. Right now, they are listening to School Matters. Can you tell us how important it is for everyone to be involved when it comes to cooking, cleaning, finances, and taking care of the household? Even though I have a helper, how important it is to ask for help and to share responsibilities.
Okay.
It's
This
not
is a very
only
good
me
question.
as the woman, as a career woman of the house, but
Yes,
I still have to do while the children and even my spouse just relax while I serve, wash up, clean up, and still see to homework and my personal work which I bring home.
Yes.
That's a good
So,
question.
this is a question I'm asked often, by the way. If women are honest, they will begin to understand the superwoman concept of being a woman never had any validity. But a lot of women expect themselves and are expected by others to be superhuman. And now women are going to work, they're helping in the incomes. Now they have to run a household. Then they have to be educators to their children. So I want us to know that at the root cause of these problems is the failure to support a spiritual state of connection with our Creator. I said to us early on, please pay attention to what I'm saying. Be patient. Even though people are feeling stressed and they're feeling like I need some relief, can my husband hear this? Can he assist me? Can my children understand what I'm going through? Nobody seems to care. This is why I said that in the Indian community, especially in the Indian Muslim community, women are taken advantage of. They're taken advantage of. Let me be honest with you. Women are just expected to be there. Nobody gives consideration to them. I'm generalizing. And women sometimes expect this of themselves, to not ask for support. But it's a sign of weakness if
Yeah.
I ask for caring support from a husband or a child. But remember, I was just saying to somebody not even an hour ago, because I was being helpful in the kitchen as well. And I said, this is what the Prophet of Islam did. This is the Sunnah, to support in the kitchen, to support with the housework. You understand? So we've got a big problem. And I'm not a alarmist regular. Generally, I'm not an alarmist. I'm a very optimistic. I'm a very optimistic person. But I am very concerned, not because there's something out there that can hurt us or harm us, but we are damaging ourselves. We are not rising up and being of support to ourselves, with Allah, with ourselves. We're not caring for ourselves. We're not caring for the people around us. We're not operating in mutual support.
Yeah.
The whole family is in its own space with its own cell phones, right? And own cars, and generally like that. So there's no mutual support. This whole thing is a system. Islam is a system. It's for humanity. The Quran says even though there is some value in gambling, alcohol, and other things as well, usury, it's better for the community that you stay away from it. Islam is a teaching that is in support of community, people coming together. And what we see today, what is passing off as Islam, is not Islam. This is selfishness. Everybody's for themselves. No, the only way we can face the challenges of the time is as a community. And that community is a macrocosm, the Muslim Ummah, and a microcosm as a community in the house. And it starts off with denying the false god of money. It starts off by recognizing that money has no power. And wherever we think money is the solution, or money is an answer, money is going to make our lives better, we got to look at that. So women are going to work for money, and they're working hard for money. You see? Now, I'm not saying women shouldn't work and shouldn't work for money. I'm just saying, before money and our focus on money is our Creator and our focus on our Creator, because in the remembrance of Allah, hearts experience assurance. Spiritual well-being precedes emotional well-being. You get what I mean? So when mothers are rushing off to work, and it's all about earning the money, it's all about making people like them, and women are carrying on, I want to be approved of, I want to be good. They forgot about Allah, who has given them respect and given them rights. And you see, what I'm saying is at the core of this problem we're facing is that there is no spiritual well-being. Now, I am not talking religiously. I'm not talking because we got a lot of that. We got about a lot of those lectures, especially in Al-Ansar. Do this, don't do that. This is right. This is wrong. This is we are right. Those people are. But we got no support for the community. You understand? So I want to tell you this so that people understand where I'm coming from. You know who I am. But other listeners don't know who I am. I have been in private school education, secondary school. I have been associated with the Association of Muslim Private Schools, working with other Muslim private schools, not only the private Muslim school I was, working at. I have been in the world out there working with people with all kinds of problems for 30 years. I've worked with teenagers, I've worked with young adults, senior citizens. I have spoken at over 100 mosques on the Friday platform. Not just the lecture, the Friday Jummah. I've spoken in the biggest mosques in South Africa. You understand? So I'm telling you something. Aware of the education system that is secular, the education system that is Muslim education system, the education system that is the religious education. And all of them are failing miserably in supporting the average Muslim human being in having spiritual security and well-being, and supporting the community as a community to build themselves up and move forward. So I want everybody to know, do not take it personally that you are struggling and straining. The thing is, we have never gotten support. Even you can see Zach was there. He went to school. But nobody told him how to operate after school. If Zach had a father who was a professional, was loaded, he'll have a car, he'll have money, he'll have spending, he can buy. More people are like Zach than that are privileged. You understand? And these people are not getting the support of not only how to do well in school, but how to live your life as a real Muslim with spiritual well-being, psychological well-being, and how to focus in life in a way that you can make progress. This is what I've seen, and I'm worried. I'm worried, especially not only for the young men, but for the ladies, for the sisters, the daughters. Okay. All right.
We'd love to meet you. Pay us a visit. Radio Al Ansar.
This segment is brought to you by Kenfield Auto. your RMI approved service and repair specialist. 236 Brickfield Road, Overport.
Kenfield Auto. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. ربنا إننا آمنا فاغفر لنا ذنوبنا وقنا عذاب النار.
Car won't start?
Kenfield Auto.
Noisy brakes?
Kenfield Auto.
Due for a service?
Kenfield Auto.
Kenfield Auto, the answer to all your car problems. Your service and repair specialist for your VW, Audi, Suzuki, Toyota, or just about any vehicle. Kenfield Auto, your RMI and insurance approved workshop. Follow the red and white board in the passage at 236 Brickfield Road, Overport. Call Shafi on 031 207 2399. Kenfield Auto. Welcome to Simplex Radio. Visit our showroom for the full range of car audio. Our TV department carries top brands with quality LED panels, full HD to Ultra HD, and now the experience of Super Ultra HD. Visit our theater rooms and transform your home with brands like Onkyo, Integra, Denon, Boston Acoustics, Yamaha, and more for quality audio visual experience. Now available, full range of home appliances. A one-stop shopping experience. Call 031 306 4029 or Kenilworth Park, 202 Brickfield Road, Overport. Simplex Radio, the name you can trust.
There are over 200 million orphans globally. We can't help all of them, but what if we each helped just one? The Al Imdad Foundation now gives you an opportunity to help just one orphan from Syria or Palestine. For just 500 Rand per month, you can help safeguard the dignity of an orphan by assisting them with basic needs such as food, clothing, shelter, medical care, and attention. Our orphan sponsorship program allows you to track the progress of your orphan through regular feedback. Make a difference in the life of an orphan today. Visit alimdad.com or call 0861 786 243 for more information.
Looking for an unforgettable getaway that won't break the bank? Explore the bustling bazaars of Istanbul, uncover the ancient wonders of Egypt, or unwind on the pristine beaches of Mauritius. Experience the vibrant culture of India, or escape to the turquoise waters and golden sands of Zanzibar. Affordable adventures, endless experiences. Your next escape is just a click away. Call 031 208 4222 or visit www.miragetravel.co.za. Show Mirage Travel, where your dream journey begins.
اللهم انصر إخواننا المستضعفين على أرض فلسطين. اللهم انصر إخواننا المستضعفين على أرض فلسطين. اللهم حرر المسجد الأقصى من اليهود الغاصبين. اللهم انصر إخواننا المرابطين على أرض فلسطين. اللهم شد أزرهم وسدد رميهم برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين. اللهم الطف بإخواننا في كل مكان يذكر فيه اسمك يا أرحم الراحمين. استنصروك يا الله فانصرهم. اللهم ارحم الضعفاء والفقراء والمساكين والأيتام والنازحين والمشردين والأسرى يا أرحم الراحمين.
اللهم أنج المستضعفين من المسلمين في فلسطين. اللهم كن لهم عونا ونصيرا. اللهم كن لإخواننا المرابطين في المسجد الأقصى. اللهم كن لهم ولا تكن عليهم. اللهم فرج همهم، نفس كربهم، داوي جرحاهم، عاف مبتلاهم، اشف مرضاهم، ارحم موتاهم، تقبل شهداءهم.
Every student can learn, just not on the same day or the same way. Education is not the filling of a pail, but the lighting of a fire. Education's purpose is to replace an empty mind with an opened one.
Join Sumaya Khan every Tuesdays between 7 and 8 p.m. for an educational evening exclusive to Radio Al Ansar.
Your education is a dress rehearsal for a life that is yours to lead. Assalamu alaikum. Welcome to School Matters. Yes, our topic this evening is a balancing act. How can parents stay involved in their child's education while managing work and personal life? Well, this is part 3. Before we continue, I'd like to thank all of you who are watching us on YouTube. Feel free to WhatsApp us in studio. We linked up all the way with Brother Asharaf MOORAD from Cape Town, a counsellor. Brother Asharaf, you were talking about, connecting and how important it is. How can parents, we mentioned about the mental health, and how everybody thinks with wealth and money, the problems will be solved. But that's not the case. In homes, parents are overwhelmed, as we mentioned, by work, cooking. That was a question we had by a sister, Fatima Adam. And we answered that question. And that's so true. So much is expected out of women, what you just mentioned. How can parents create healthy boundaries between work life and family life, especially when work follows them home on their phone? I'm guilty of that. I've set boundaries and I lost a lot of acquaintances or friends, as you call it.
Yes. I was saying to you, my sister, that the situation is such that parents are dealing with stresses they've never dealt before. They have not been educated themselves on how to be resourceful for their own benefit and their own lives. And so how can they actually be resourceful to benefit their children and guide their children to live a better life? If a mother like that, a professional woman, and this is quite a common scenario, stressed and strained. An educated woman is quite stressed and strained. Imagine the uneducated out there and how stressed and strained they are. So what I was saying before the break is that I don't want parents to get angry with themselves. I want you to understand that the secular school system is not there to assist you to live your best life or to be resourceful to living as good a life as you can. The secular school system is not there to assist your child to live a best life they can. It's not resourcing them. The school is not developing them as people. And hasn't developed, you haven't been developed as people. And I was saying to you that I've been involved in private school education, and I've also been involved in religious education. And I was saying to us that the religious organizations are not interested in resourcing you, parents, and your children in how to live in this day and age, the challenges that you're facing, to deal with them. So this is what concerns me, that for the average Muslim family who doesn't have lots of rich parents and properties and cars and all that, the private school educators are for them and their private school wards and the private school parents. You know what I mean? I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that. I'm just saying what it is. You get these private school educators that are interested in their rich parents and rich children. That's great. And you get the religious lecturers and teachers that are giving madrasa education, and is oftentimes also interested in the rich parents and the rich children and all. This also happens there too. So where is the education going to come from? Spiritual development, from psychological development. Because what you're talking about, my sister, setting boundaries and all that, this is being psychologically equipped to understand that you've got to look after yourself and you've got to look after your children. And that's a boundary. That you have to have a boundary between you and your children that looks after you. And the boundary between you and other people that looks after your children. These are psychological concepts. Yeah. This is all Islamic, by the way, but it's not religious. So what we have is a situation where the secular schooling and the religious schooling is not equipping young people to become parents who are going to be able to be good parents or even live their lives. So what's going to happen when this generation of people move into the world that we're going and they know they're 1+1 and they know how to read and write and all that? What's going to happen when they're not developed? This is my concern, especially for the girl children. What's going to happen to them? If this continues, so you want the fix from me. You want me to say to you, set boundaries, but we have a very big problem. Parents are not supported. There's a massive support deficit. That the religious education and the secular education is not supporting.
Exactly.
And that has to be supported.
Exactly. I received another WhatsApp message. Assalamu alaikum. Sister Sumaya, you mentioned something you felt guilty attending your child's sports today and not being at school. Well, I want advice from our counselor who's on air right now. How can, what advice would you give parents who feel they are, failing because they cannot attend every school event or activity? What advice you have for us?
So you see, you don't have to attend every child's activity. You just have to make sure you're fulfilling your responsibility to the child, supporting them with their basic spiritual, psychological, and emotional and physical needs. That's all. Nobody's asking you to be everywhere all at once. What we're asking you is to consider that you haven't been supported to function as a responsible parent, to make sure that you are spiritually resourced and you're psychologically resourced, and that you know in your heart that you are taking care of yourself and you're taking care of your children, and you're doing the best you can. There's nothing more you can do beyond that. Because there are parents who show up to every event, but they are failing the holistic development of the children. What I would like to do is take the last few minutes of this program to complete what I was saying earlier. As I said to you, this is very important to listen. Money is not going to sort your problems, your children's problems. If you believe that, it's a kind of shirk. What you've got to understand is Allah gives us oxygen to breathe. And Allah is giving us the ability to reason and think. And Allah is available to us, guiding us how to live in a way that benefits us, our families, our children, and our community. A lot of people don't understand that the Quran, the Prophet Muhammad Islam is guidance for us how to live. We think that Allah is just there when we've got problems and times are tough. We must just say, help us. Allah's guidance allows us to live in a way that improves the quality of our life. Allah's guidance guides us how to relate to Him and depend on Him and put our trust in Him and not in money. Money is there. It's the last most important thing. The first most important thing is your relationship with Allah, not with money. Not even your relationship with you, not with your relationship with your husband, not even your relationship with your children. So the first and most important thing for you to realize, if you can, is that this is beyond religious, read this and don't this and eat this and don't eat that. This is actual iman and the remembrance of Allah, heart's experience, assurance. If you are interested in actual guidance, not religious instruction, in the actual guidance of what spiritual development is, because the Quran says your family, your children, your wealth, your money will not avail you unless you bring to Allah a purified heart. If you are living your life and you are stressed, I can guarantee you don't have a good relationship with your Creator. I'm not saying that stress is not normal in society today. What I'm saying is we are more resilient when we have Iman. And Iman is not about read this and don't read that and don't read like this, don't like this. Iman is an actual awareness of Allah, which we're not getting instruction on, which is what I teach people. Right? So if you have a relationship with Allah, where you know Allah is the most valuable, in fact, the alone uniquely valued. Nothing is more valuable to us than Allah. Not us, not our money, not our money. If you begin to contemplate of the value of Allah to you and your children. That you don't have to take care of you, and you don't have to take care of yourself and your children. You have to be caring to yourself. You have to be caring to your children. But you don't take care of your children, and you don't take care of yourself. This is the problem. People are trying to take care of themselves. They're trying to take care of their children. Instead of understanding Allah is taking care of us all, but we must be caring to ourselves and we must be caring to our children. They can't see the difference. So when you know the power of Allah, when you spend time getting closer to Allah, you will feel a strength within you. You will feel spiritually resourced. I'm telling you from personal experience of teaching people. Secondly, when you understand that Allah has given you the ability to reason, to understand, to relate, to respond, so you can learn, grow, and develop. You understand that money can't benefit you the way Allah benefits you, and money can't benefit you the way you as a human being can benefit yourself. We have a role to play in our lives, especially in our Muslim sisterhood. Women are very dismissive, and we don't blame them. But learning to be caring for ourselves is very important. To realize the role that we can play in our lives to benefit ourselves is more important than having money. People don't grasp this. They focus on the money, thinking that money is all about the money. Getting it, make sure your children get it. And by the way, the children are going to school to get an education that's obsolete because AI is coming. Actually, it's not coming, it's here. So we are heading to a massive stress and strain that we are feeling. Is nothing. It's the tip of the iceberg. You know what's going to happen to your children? If you think you are stressed, you think your children are going to do well in school and they're going to be fine in the world. Let me tell you, it begins with you as a parent. Get the proper education. I told my sister here, pay my ticket. I'll come to Durban. I'll do a free full-day workshop for you. No charge. To teach you how to actually feel Allah is sufficient for you, and how to know that you have the ability to reason and how you can benefit yourself, and how you can operate in the world with dua. What dua really is. And how to receive in your life money. Money is to be received, not to be earned, not to be worked for. Allah doesn't make us earn the favors. He gives us freely. The massive education deficit here.
Exactly. Well, Jazakallah so much for 3 parts. You basically counseled us, workshop us, and I think right now lots of parents who have been following us for the last 2 shows and this show are realizing what is important, how to set boundaries, and money is not everything, and it's so important to be grounded and also be spiritually inclined and have trust in the Almighty.
There are things more important than money. Money is important, but there are things more important than money. I'm not dismissing money.
Yeah.
But I'm telling you that money is not the most valuable. There are things more valuable than money.
Thank you so much for linking up with us. Again, don't you want to give an email address?
No, not. This is just saying to those parents out there, if you really want an education, I can come. I can educate you. Because I feel very worried for your children and your grandchildren.
Well, Jazakallah so much. That was Brother Asharaf MOORAD, who we're linking all the way up from Cape Town. We have many guests on our show. He doesn't want to make money. He doesn't want to give his email address. That tells you how much he loves what he's doing and how he wants to change the Ummah for the betterment and equipping us with the correct skills and tools. As we conclude tonight's discussion, one important message stands out. Balance does not mean perfection. Parents do not have to do everything flawlessly to raise happy, loved and supported children. Sometimes the smallest moments, a conversation in the car, a shared meal, a bedtime dua, a simple how was your day, leave the biggest impact on the child's heart. To every parent listening tonight, give yourself grace. You are carrying more than people often see, and your efforts matters. Healthy parents build healthier homes, and when families support one another, children thrive emotionally, socially, and academically. A sincere shukran once again to our guest brother Asharaf MOORAD for
Thank
sharing
you.
such
Assalamu alaikum.
valuable
Assalamu alaikum.
insights. Wa alaikum salam, insight with us this evening. And I'd also like to say shukran, thank you to all our listeners joining us on School Matters on Radio Lansar 90.4 FM in Durban and 105.6 FM in Pietermaritzburg. Until next time, stay safe, stay balanced, and continue investing in the hearts and futures of our children. Assalamu alaikum.
Subhanallah walhamdulillah.